All right, I think we're live. I hope, I think. Guess we'll see. Oh, I guess that's alive. I'm getting an echo here, so I guess we are. Nice. Hey, Zero Sleep, how's it going? All right, I hope this is going to be the final step in this testing. We've determined that a couple of different methods. Those combo players are great for people, or combo recorders, not players, are great for people that just want to get it done. Quality isn't the priority. Ease of use is probably number one. The next thing we found is that a good quality external DVD recorder, especially one that has a time-based corrector built in, even a mediocre one, is really great. Also, ease of use. And direct capture is probably the good happy medium, and I think we've determined a few solutions, hopefully more today. They're stuck together. It was at Voltar's house, they're stuck together. Uh, these might work. The one that I have here is definitely a great option as well. So I think we've determined the ease of use, and obviously the VHS Decode Doomsday Fork project is going to be the expert solution. So we're going for the medium today, and let's see what we can do. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to keep this open, and I'm going to share my screen so we could try another capture here. Get VDub up. Retro YPBPR, thanks for joining. Yeah, really glad those things arrived to you safely. I'm always happy to give people or get the right stuff in the right people's hands. And of course, another stream tomorrow if anybody's interested, any supporters are interested. Hey, Tish, thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to start out capture AVI, set capture file, say Hauppauge, and I have the Hauppauge WinTV. I forgot the model number. It's in the description, but I wasn't able to find any more for sale, so this is not going to be the option. I hope this isn't the best option because it's going to be impossible to find. It might be a really good capture option, but all right. So I have that set up. I think the one thing I want to start with is I was paying attention to something else and fumbled my words in the last stream. I had said something like, I always turn off video calibration. And that's not true at all. I leave it on. I leave picture control on auto unless it's something that I know I want to mess with. Like video calibration, if you turn it off and you set the picture control, maybe that's something that you might want a sharper image, a softer, depending on everything. But I usually leave it on auto. What I always turn off is superimpose, which is what actually flashes on the screen when it's on. So blue back on, audio monitor, SVS. Yeah. So I leave the video calibration and stabilization on. I turn off superimpose, which is just the on-screen menu of it. I think I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check again. It would just be under function. So timer. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And let's find another commercial on this. We got the Sports Illustrated commercial. I probably shouldn't get copyright struck for that, so we'll see. All right, so we'll leave this here and capture video, hit play. And you notice how it does not say play on screen when I hit play. I think that's what superimpose was. Hey, what's up, Belmont? Yeah, hopefully finishing this up. My goal is by the next podcast to have a post done, just summarizing this stuff. And then if I have time, I was going to make a higher, like a higher production, fancier video showing the stuff off. But those things take like a full weekend, even for a short 10-minute one. I just don't know if I would have the time to do that. But I hope. So this capture card that we're using came from a recommendation from the R3 Wiki. Shout out to Extrems and to really the whole crew there that's always super patient with me and found this for me, as well as kind of helped for the 480i settings. And in fact, I just forgot which mode I captured it in. Bitch. Okay. I should have gone over this first. My bad. So the compression. Oh, good. This is what I wanted. I wanted it set to uncompressed because I don't want compression messing up any of these tests. FFV1 should be good, but we just have like a 1-minute file here that is a gig. That's totally fine for these tests. And obviously, depending on how long of a video you're capturing, if you're capturing an hour, I mean, if you have a spare hard drive, yeah, capture uncompressed, compress after the fact, whatever. I think that's probably an easy way to do it. But if not, if you run one, I've used Lagarith before for video games, but I don't know if that's a good thing for this. Please chime in if you have any thoughts on it. But the capture pin is basically the only settings allowable for this. So I'm assuming this is capturing in 480i. I checked with the people on the R3 wiki a whole bunch of times, and everybody said that they thought I was doing it right. So I think that this is just going to end up with an interlaced file. The other thing that we could do in here is this is the settings for the video card itself, and this could be tweaked as well. I'm going to leave it default just because I think that's the most fair for this one. But let's see how this thing came out then. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. That muted. So I'm trying to get a. Okay, so basically, when the baseball player jumps, then it switches over to this, and we get. Yeah, this will work. This will work for a good. So I'll basically. Oh, that's a great motion capture too. So I'm gonna rewind this to just about when the race cars are on screen. We'll see what we got. Since I found the remote for this, I might be able to even reset the counter. So, all right, perfect. Rewind. All right, stop, and let's see if I could. Yes, okay, I've reset the counter on the VCR to 0, so it'll make rewinding it to this spot a little bit easier. Hey, what's up, Phone Dork? Oh man, it's good, so good to see you here. Thank you again for that stuff that you sent. I used absolutely all of it. That Neo Geo is now my main Neo Geo. After fixing that up to make sure it's safe, it wasn't Phone Dork's problem. It was one of the AliExpress ones, and the G-SCART is going to be implemented in my setup in a very unique way, kind of soon. So thank you again, man. Really appreciate it. Klazov, I can't. This is not something I could adjust. This is locked into the Hopwash card. So. Hey, Tommy. FFV1 was a larger file than Lagarith. And so that's the only reason I used it. And when I did my tests with lags, I never had an issue, but other people say that they have. So I don't really know. And I think the issue might have been for longer captures, not for the usual less than 10-minute ones that I do. So I'm kind of interested in that. But also, Lagarith used to work in Premiere, and now it doesn't. So thanks for that, Premiere. This is the I/O data card. I have this linked in the description, and this supposedly is very good. We shall see. If not, I'll figure something else out. And also, after we do these, I'm going to be doing MD Fourier testing on these. I know that's usually people, if you're not on the MD Fourier Discord, it's probably your least favorite part of these streams, but it's very important, so I'm going to stick with it. So I'm going to try to go directly into one of my PC's USB 3 ports so that there's no chance of a USB hub messing with anything. All right, and I don't know if we're going to need drivers. We'll have to find out, but it does come with CD. Cute, because I guess they assume if you're capturing VHS, you must be an old person with the CD-ROM drive. And let's see if I even need it here. Tommy, so my my thought for this particular stream is just simply that if I mess something up on stream, I'm gonna feel like an idiot. So if I hit what if I'm talking to the chat, I'm looking at stuff over here, I'm working on other things, and the next thing you know, I accidentally set the compression wrong, and I skew the results by accident. So I agree with you that if you're doing this stuff at home, you probably just want to take the time to set the correct compression. But if you're like me and you're doing a million things at once, it's probably best to just do it uncompressed and compress later. Also, uncompressed very easily goes into uh, oh shit, very easily goes into Premiere. All right, I guess I'm going to have to use here. Let me show you. Okay, I/O data. Thanks for not checking the language here. Let me try to use my cell phone. So Zoomer nostalgia. I'll get to. You know what? Hold on 1 second, and I will answer your question. I just want to try to get Google Translate up to figure out what this is. Automatic installation or all right, I'm gonna go with custom installation and driver installation. And then I'm gonna install whatever it is they have for their basic capture software. We could do it twice, one with regular and one with their basic. All right, light capture. Oh, that's in English. Great. Okay, that's there. Doing that's next. So here's what I found with the Tink. It does have some sync issues. Does this say I have to reboot? We could try it without it. It does have some sync issues, but it mostly is excellent. However, if you want to record in original 480i for archival purposes, then you're going to have a capture card that supports that. And if you don't, then you would then have to deinterlace to 480p at least, and all come out absolutely excellent. There's no issues with any of that. It's just, is that something that you would want to do? Yeah, so I immediately, can this be changed to English? Son of a bitch. So yeah, the short answer is I love the Tink as an option. I just don't, I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be the best for everybody. For default. Yeah, I can't find English in this. Although it's kind of neat to see that it's got these options the way I wanted them. 48K. Yeah, that's funny. Zoomer nostalgia. Yeah, that's exactly what this thing supports. Let me just see. Let's just try it and see what happens. Play. I can't figure out what the inputs are. Let me pause the VHS player now. Anybody know how to read this thing? Yeah, VHS decode is an expert solution. Now, it's going to be the best, period. There's not really that much of a discussion for that. Um, but it's not something that you could just jump right into doing. So we can't figure out what seems to be the input in this. Great. If I connect composite video, okay, so it sees composite. That's a good sign. But how do we get it to see a S video? Would have thought that would have been an option right here. That does nothing. That's schedule record. Don't know what that is. Pause, obviously. Frustrating. Anybody have any ideas? I mean, I'm leaning into just not using this software at all, just in case. Just in case we can't set this to English or something. No, none of that's working. That's pretty funny. Maybe that. I don't know. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's a not very easy way to do things. And it's not letting me see anything while I record. Odd, but let me stop and see if we even have a recording. Okay, well, I think the light capture software is not going to work for us. Let's go back into VDub. I gotta say though, I really like the idea of having software that just does all of this for you. Being able to just drop this in, install the software, and say whatever. But you know, if part of as much as that's nice, and as much as VDub isn't exactly the most user-friendly or welcoming software, part of what I'm trying to do here is find methods that you could still buy today, brand new, and rely on the software for it. So, okay, that's a good sign. In the same settings, we're just going to go uncompressed. We're going to change this to IO data. Rewind that to where it was before. I mean, this does seem to look very good. So I'm sad that their built-in software isn't working right, but VDub's free. The codecs are free. It's just a matter of spending the time to actually tweak it. Hey KOC, yeah, it's very rare I have time to actually do this, so uh, I try to always just pick easy times to do. And I always try to never stream when my friends are streaming, but it just doesn't work that way sometimes. Zoomer, I'm using a JVC VCR with S-Video out and no time-based corrector built in, just to see. Okay, good movement on screen. I'm gonna rewind this. Okay. So I'll close out of here. Let's just verify that this worked. I mean, this looks surprisingly good for a $50 plugin solution. Although, let me. No, it's close. Oh, that's interesting. We'll be able to see that on the output side. Okay. Um, all right, that was the IO data. And here's this piece of junk one that I got for like 10 bucks. I actually, I bought this one for two reasons. One, mainly because when you're using the VHS Decode Doomsday project, you need a way to capture audio, and you also need a way to have video come out so that you could sync it afterwards. So at the very least, even if this is a 100% garbage, would never recommend solution, at $11, whatever it was, this might actually be perfect for just syncing the video and audio with Doomsday. So now, will MD4A test this? Actually, as soon as we're done with this test, to be honest with you. But it might be good enough to capture the audio as well. So that could actually really make this thing worth it. However, even if it's not, even if this is a total turd, being able to just capture a very compressed, low quality version so that you could, through this, capture audio through something like the Motu M4, then you could sync it up after the fact and you always have a reference file. So very, very good way to spend 10 bucks. Okay. So let's see if that even detected or if I'm going to need drivers with it. Let's see, did this even come with drivers? No. So, fingers crossed. So using OBS and XSplit for capture isn't bad, but it doesn't give you the same options that this does. So I wouldn't actually recommend it for, I would never recommend it for capturing 480i, but if you are doing something like putting it through a tank, deinterlacing the 480p and getting it that way, um, then that would work fine. I just also wouldn't recommend buying a tank just for that feature, although its time-based correction is kind of worth it. So maybe we'll find out about that at some point in the future. I wanted to borrow one of those data video ones and see how that works compared to 20. Okay, so this is locked at 25 frames per second. Can't even do 29.97. Oh, wait, no. Okay. So it's 30 and 720 by 480. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. You always double check the settings. We're still going to do uncompressed just for the hell of it. Call this Eric. Now I'm not sure how to change inputs on this. Okay, I just had to go to the different preview window. Well, I mean, let's try it. Play. Interesting. Interesting. I think I'm gonna have to. I'll whip up a quick comparison on stream here, which is going to be even more boring than you could imagine, because you're gonna have to sit here and watch me use Premiere for a couple of minutes. But at least we'll be able to see it. Hey, Shadow Mask. They have an SVHS, S-Video, and a Panasonic combo deck that outputs component. Uh, yeah, Shadow Mask. So the reason why it would be sharper is because of the comb filter that's built into that DVD recorder. It's probably going in S-Video. It probably has some filtering. It probably has a time-based correction built in if you have the same Panasonic recorder. So when you output component, it's basically like you're pumping it through a filter. It's the same way that you could plug composite video into the original RetroTink 2X and composite video into the RetroTink 4X and think the one through the 4X is S video. All right, rewinding this. So I would like to. Oh man, if this crashes the stream, I'm really sorry. But if it crashes, just stay put. Thanks to the stream professor, I am actually able to jump back in. Okay, check this out. So we've learned a few things. The Samsung combo's totally fine. The Sony DVD recorder, not so much. It's a little off. The Tink 5X does a great job, but there are some slight sync issues at the top. The data path was pretty excellent, and in fact, we could check that now as well. The Doomsday required different settings and a lot of tweaking on the output. The Doomsday has the most potential for being the best. It just isn't at the moment. So, yeah, let me do the data path as well, just for posterity here. And then I'll whip up a comparison just like you saw just a second ago. All right, so this is the bag of goodies that you need to get the data path working, because it's a pro level card. So I mean, it's both funny but understandable at the same time. So let's oh, that's right. I'm gonna need my adapters as well. I am right off camera here. I am tripping over a pile of packing materials because I got the sales stream tomorrow, and I almost didn't have enough boxes last time. So I just wanted to save every box and bit of packing material I had just for the hell of it this time. All right, so I have a coupler. Need this, and I need two BNC adapters, and then I should be good. I think one of my friends already got dibs on it, but there's potential tomorrow for that Betamax player with the Godfather set, WrestleMania, Doctor Strangelove, and the porn tape that came with it. That might actually be for sale tomorrow. But one of my friends, I think, already claimed dibs on it, and then he was like, "Well, wait a minute. I mean, can it do this or that?" And I haven't heard back from him. But I hope so, because I hope somebody gets it, because that was just that Betamax player I showed a picture of on social media. That is just the perfect example of high-end Sony tech from the early 80s. It was just awesome. So the data path card requires BNC adapters to this thing, and I think it was one in, actually, let me check my messages. I think it was 1 in 6 for S-Video. Wonder how the Core U adapter with an OSSC compares to the rest of these. I don't know if the Core U has the best comb filter on it. I did a comparison a couple months ago that I never released because it wasn't very conclusive. I did the Core U versus the Tink 2X Pro in pass-through versus the Tink 2X M in pass-through, which actually had a better comb filter, versus the Tink 5X. And I think I also compared it to, well, I didn't know. The Tink 5X didn't have true pass-through then. I think I then compared it to that DVD recorder, and they all came out slightly different. So there was no definitive, like, this is better than the other. Um, the okay. S1 and S9. I would not have guessed that without referencing my notes. S1 and S9. All right. Is the Latex DPS 235 one of those rack-mounted ones? One of those crazy-ass rack-mount ones? Because my buddy Lance, the guy who runs, one of the people who runs Retro World, he's the one that lent me that other DVD recorder. He lent me one of those, and it sat in my room for months, 6 months or something like that. And I never ended up using it because at the end of the day, I was like, you can't get these anyway. I looked them up on eBay to see how much they cost. I put an eBay watch up for it, and it just, you couldn't get them. So I'm like, well, I can't be using this in a video about how to capture stuff today without it. The DataPath SD4. It is, so it's kind of like the E2S, except one of the inputs is analog video with, I believe, a 2-comb filter. So it's actually pretty impressive. You could use it like the E2S in that you could have HDMI or component or RGB or VGA or DVI all going into one, and then you could end up having like a composite and S video going into the other. It's pretty impressive to see it like that. So here and here. All right, I got all my adapters. Let's see how this works. See if I get image on screen, and we could go from there. Yeah, that was easy. Okay, sweet. Add a path, hit play. Oh yeah, I could already see this is better than the $10 one. This is going to be interesting. Which of the capture cards I decided on are actually going to be worth using? So as soon as this recording's done, I will end up doing a quick mix on with Adobe Premiere, which will be very boring for anybody who's willing to sit in the chat and wait, but it'll only be 3 or 4 minutes. Right, analog video channel, I agree and disagree. First, anytime you're in the analog video world, anything else that you add to the signal will take away from that signal. So that's definitely something that you want to keep into account. Now, that being said, if you're getting dropouts because the tape is old, or if you're getting horizontal lines down the screen because you have a capture card that thinks interference is macrovision, then you're going to need some kind of time-based correction. So you're definitely right about that. But the ideal solution would be to find one of those, get them for 150, 200 bucks, but get one of those VCRs with time-based correction in it. And that's why the post on this stuff and the video isn't going to be very easy to do, because it's not, you don't just need one or two things, you could need many. So I think the first question people need to ask is, do you need to record in 480i, or can you accept 480p or 720p? And that's kind of the other thing, is using, and we could do that too in this. You know what, let's do it right now. What the hell? I already warned everybody this was going to be a really long and boring stream, so it's not like I'm suddenly going to shock people when I do one other boring thing in between. Where is that? Me. Here. See if I could find what I'm looking for. Ugh. So many boxes filled with so much crap. Okay. Why I need to do these sales streams like tomorrow. Now I have Standing on Top of the World stuck in my head. I wonder if I'm going to get copyright struck because that VHS tape played 4 seconds of the song twice. At least once a year, I'll get a copyright threat about one of my songs, and out of every 10 streams, one of them I'll get a copyright threat because of just video game music, and they're obviously always fake. I love the ones that try to claim my own songs that I wrote, paid for, and own the freaking copyright to. That cracks me up every time. All right, so these. Horrible for video games. Do not use these things for video games at all. They add a ton of lag, but that's not what they were designed for. They were specifically and only designed for capturing stuff like VHS tapes. And they do not do a terrible job at all. So while it's going to be 720p, and I'll have to knock it down a little bit to make it the same size, I think this is going to be a really good comparison. Of course, I don't have the correct power cable here, so just give me 1 second for that. Should have that. One of my giant boxes of crap here. USB-C. Come on, really? Oh, mini USB. Here they are. All right. I'll put this over here. Makes me sad how often my BVMs end up being a place to put my my box when I'm not using it. All right. This is just power, so it doesn't matter what USB port I plug it into. Have it set to 720p. And I'll go through the HDMI input of that same data path card. And this is composite video only, but it's going to be an interesting comparison. So no, just default 1280 by 720. We're going to do the same thing, YUV2. Not going to change any of that. And rewind it. Try again. Ryan, box of gallon Ziploc bags full of cables crew represent. You know what's funny is I was talking to Risha a couple years ago. I was still living in the city, and I went to find something, and I knew I had it. I have like 3 of these cables because we were trying to test a Mister thing, and I lost my shit. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I have to find something to do somewhere, and I ended up dumping every cable on the floor, and I from that point on have kept every cable lined up properly in all of its bags, labeled and stuff like that. I only have 1 box of random cables that don't really fit anywhere else. Ooh, did you see some of that jumpy and choppiness? Yeah, see it's blinking out a little bit? That's interesting. Hey, the real OC Gamer, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. How many years do I think we are from affordable 4K 120 matrix switches that are good for gaming? They're out, but they're 4x2s that are out, and they're under $200. Wow, look how choppy this is. I wonder what's up with that. That can't be. Hold on, that can't be. I've tested this thing before and it didn't suck. Let's restart that. Hold on, let me restart this, and then I will get back to your question because those are both good questions here. Just try this again. Oh, and did I forget to change the? I did, didn't I? Damn it. Now we have to redo the data path one too. Sorry about that. Right, let's try this again. See if it's choppy. Yeah, that's weird. All right, I'm gonna try 2 things here. I'm going to try 2 things, and then I'm going to answer those questions because those are great questions. So first thing I'm going to do is switch this over. Cross your fingers I don't crash anything. Now let's take a look at the Live Gamer 4K and see what that does. Okay, that's much better, right? No, it's still kind of blinking out, but it is better. All right, let's rewind this. Pause it. Still at uncompressed. Oh, so weird. So this is why you got to double check all of this stuff. Impressions uncompressed. Capture file. PS HDMI Aver Media. Capture pin. Now, here we go. 1280 by 720 to match. And we're just, yeah, let's just do 60. See what happens. Okay. Oh, and now we get jumpy again. So something's not lining up with the output of this thing. It's set to 720, so let's get the Live Gamer 4K. Let's get its app up here. And I've not forgotten about the 2 questions. I appreciate them. I just want to get this rolling to not take up too many of people's times. So it's 1280 by 720 at 60. You You know, let's just use this to record then. Screw it. No, it's still twitchy. Weird. Okay. Well, that composite to I said 1080p, maybe? Maybe? Showing 1080p 60. Right now. No, still freaking out. Okay, interesting. Well, you know, it happens. All right, so back to those. How many years do I think are affordable switchers? So they're available right now, but they're only 4x2. What I really want to see is like a 10x4, to be honest, or even an 8x4 would do. But the 4K 120, you could find them. In fact, let me drop a link in the description for the ones that I've been watching on eBay. Now, I have not purchased any of these. I haven't tested them personally, so please, please, please don't run out and buy this unless you're ready to do your own testing. But yeah, let me. All right, this one's 180 bucks, and this is 4 in, 2 out, and supposedly supports ARC, which is if you listen to the Q&A today, that would be kind of important. And then this is the same thing, but it doesn't say it supports ARC. This has some other audio output options, but if you're going 4K 120, you're probably also listening to Atmos stuff. I know, I guess they both have the digital outputs as well. So check on both of those and see what you think. You just save those links for later. So if you wanted to test one of those and let me know what happened, that would be very, very cool. Go here. Monty, does $5 even still buy a beer? Thank you so much for the super chat, Monty. It does actually, so thank you. Analog video channel, there are those standalone things that record to SD cards. Most of them are not great. If you have a very crappy source, it doesn't really matter, but I have not tested the ones like the external AverMedia or those like that. But are you sure it's not outputting 5994? I'm not sure at all. So let me see if I could change that. Set it back to 720. I'll try one more time because I know Technology Connections did do a good video about this and recommends them for VHS capture, not for gaming. So I'll check. Looks like it's chopping forward and backward in time. I tried blowing on the contact points. That's funny. Well, let's see. Capture. Go into the data path again. And we'll change the settings. 2997. Let's see what happens. Rewind it. No, I'm still freaking out. That's not allowing the change. That. No, it's not even working at all in the wrong range. So it really is YUV. That is strange. It's disappointing. That card was supposed to have been a not crappy solution, but you know, it is what it is. I realized I didn't have the I didn't have the display capture on when I was showing that. My apologies, but I walked you through what happened. You didn't miss anything. So, all right, let's plug this back in. We'll redo the data path capture for the analog capture because I accidentally overwrote the file. That is definitely a dangerous thing if you're using VDub, auto file creation. Doesn't seem like it's very hard. I'm also not a programmer. And I'll go back to test that other AV thing later. I don't know why that didn't happen, but all right. Other data path. No signal. Go to the output. Okay. Let me hit pause. And let's just double check everything. Uncompressed. Capture pin, YUV2, 2997. These are all the defaults. Cool, cool. All right. What do you mean ES10? I don't, do you mean that DVD recorder? I can check. Yeah, ES10, the Panasonic DVD recorder. Well, the reason I'm not using it is because I want to watch what screws up without a time-based corrector. But I'm absolutely going to be recommending that in order to do this stuff. And in fact, the Tink 5X has one built in. So, but I mean, respectfully, if I was going to show using that, I would just tell people to use that. The only scenario in which you wouldn't want to is if you were recording a lot longer than it would be on a DVD, but also the scenario of, I guess you want more control over things, but if you're spending money to buy this stuff, buy the right equipment then. If you're just looking to transfer home movies to DVD, that DVD recorder is all you would need. If you're looking to do something like, here comes the super boring part of the stream, by the way, everybody, just to warn you. But if you're looking to do something like, capture long form stuff and re-edit it and do a lot of extra things to it, then it's not, um, there's other equipment to buy. I think context is always the most important thing for stuff like this, which is also why it's so hard to answer. Drop all the captures in. The Tink 5X has a time-based corrector built in now that should be ported to the 4K, but no guarantee for launch date because that's a feature many less people will use. But there's ups and downs to all of this stuff. So, there isn't going. I don't think there's going to be a scenario in which I say just go buy the Tink 4K, it'll solve all your problems. There's way too many factors involved, and that's actually why I think I'm really just going to take my time and try to think about the best way to present this information because there's just so many options. Right. While we wait, I guess, while we wait for me to poorly edit, let me just bring this back up. So this is from last time. This is that data path card looking awesome. The Tink 5X looking great in 480i and 480p with some sync issues up on the very top. You could always zoom in past that, I guess, if you wanted to. The Samsung combo did fine. The Sony, the Sony standalone recorder didn't do well at all. And the Doomsday requires more messing with in order to get it to look good. The VHS decode better known as Doomsday. Yeah, I would never recommend those data videos because of the price, and that's really the only thing. So, all right, so let me dump these in and see what we got. So the other thing when we're doing these comparisons, Premiere is now deinterlacing. So that's something that we're going to have to worry about every time we deal with this thing. And I'm okay with that, but I just wanted people to know that like this actually isn't going to be the end all be all comparison because of it something's deinterlacing it. All right. Add a path. And let me hold on. Do this right. All right, 3/4 of the way done. I haven't checked the chat just because I want to blow through this. I don't want to make an already boring part of the stream any more boring. So this is Hauppauge and generic then. All right, last one. Oh boy. Yeah, what a difference. oh, oh, that's funny. All right, don't worry. We'll get to it. We'll get to this very soon so you all can see it. Right. I'm not sure if the stream's going to kick out when as I'm doing this, but Oh, hold on a moment if it does. Only 20 seconds left. Okay, now we get to see. I could even just close this. All right, let me check back with the chat here. Hey, Master Safer, how's it going? Yeah, 1,000% in price for those data video units. Those were 350 new. Oh yeah, Roger and I definitely enjoy taking shots at each other, but out of love, not anything else. Oh yeah, Media Archive. Yeah, thank you. It's definitely something that there's a steep learning curve, but it seems just incredible. Hey Troy, I promise the stream's not going to be less boring in about 2 minutes. Yeah, so I will absolutely be posting more stuff, more examples as soon as I can. So I want to get this stuff sussed out, and I want to be able to show it where it actually matters. So let's all right. So here's it from last time. So it's a different scene because I don't want to keep going over the same scene over and over. But for this one, I would take the data path, which is basically the only one from last time that's going to be in the top contenders. The Samsung combo was very good, but it doesn't hold up to the rest of them. So let me switch over to that other file now. And here's from today. It's also the first time I'm watching it. Wow. Well, the generic's terrible, but I don't really know which is better or worse. This is going to be hard. How about I upload this to Google Drive so we could all take a look now? And I'm going to respectfully delete this as soon as the stream's over because I want to present this properly for everybody. But me, only 166 megabytes, so it should be kind of easy. Anybody who's watching this, all right, link. Let me put this in the chat for you all. And once again, this is compressing it to MP4 and having Premiere deinterlace it. So the generic, the colors are all off. I'm in full screen mode now. Um, I mean, this is what I expected for an $11 thing. Yeah, there's interference. The generic's kind of shit, but I mean, it's $10, so it's still going to be perfect for syncing VHS to code. Oh man, I don't know. I feel like the data path and the Hauppauge are better. The IO data isn't bad at all, though. But I don't know which is the best. Oh man, I'm gonna need to phone a friend here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get some of the R3 crew in here. once again, shout out to everybody on the R3 wiki, because this is usually how it rolls. They're just minding their business, going about their day, and next thing you know, they get pinged, and it's like, hey everybody, I'm doing a live stream right now. I know you have lives and jobs and stuff to deal with, but would you like to come over here and help us for nothing? So the Hauppauge is flipping out a bit on some frames and has more wiggle. Interesting. Okay. And that was the first one we did, so it's not like I wore the tape down. But I think the data path might be the winner here, which would suck because it's impossible to get. But the I/O data does not appear to be bad. Or maybe is it the data path is just darker? Could that be it? Possible that that's it. The I/O data also seems to have a tiny bit of sync curl up on the top, just like the Tink 5X did. Let me keep watching a little. The data path's definitely darker, so I don't necessarily know that that means it's better at all. I don't know if it's a more accurate representation or what, but like when I'm pausing at the magazine shots, you're right, I do see the wiggle on the Hauppauge. I/O data is really impressive for a $50 thing that you could just go buy right now. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't know though. The DNR, Troy? What do you mean? What was your perfect, not Kerr? First pick, not perfect. Sorry, I don't know what I get for trying to do multiple things at once. Um, look at the data path again and see if I could change some of those settings. So I can raise the brightness on that. I mean, analog video channel, the next thing I'm going to do, the next thing I'm going to do right now is MD Fourier testing to see how these capture audio or if you would need an external audio device in order to do that. But afterwards, I could always switch this VCR over to the one with time-based correction built in. Oh, that's a really good point, Troy. Thank you. I should look that up. Um, okay. Well, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a Nomad, and I'm going to grab Todd's shielded composite cables. By the way, just a little shout out to Greg for the battery pack that I have here. But I'm going to run MD Fourier on all of these audio devices to compare them to my Motu M4. And we're going to be running the comparison for the purpose of just seeing how much worse it is than the Motu M4. So, in fact, I have to do 2 recordings on the Motu in order to make sure I get this right. And what this is going to tell us is how these compare to a very nice higher end capture card or audio capture card. And then we can go back and finalize some more video settings. And if any of the people who work on VHS Decode wanted to jump in, I could try that again. But that is an expert solution. So while I do appreciate everything about it, basically, I also have a feeling that just amplifying that project and talking about it is going to be good enough, because the people need to know about it. But then at that point, it's just experts are already going to start messing with it. They don't need me to walk them through it when there's already wikis and guides and good people working on that. Optical haze, it might. Okay. MD Fourier. All right, so I'm gonna try 48K because I think at least one of those cards could run at that speed. Um, in so this is gonna be for. Let me just our capture format, and we're gonna go 48K bit. No compression. All right, let's see how this works. Video. So I am getting the audio being recorded. All right, good, good. I think you're right, Tommy. I'm pretty sure when I did the actual recording, I didn't set it up properly. That was the first time I'd ever used it. The post processing though, I actually spent quite a bit of time trying every single option that was recommended to me, and it didn't really help, to be honest with you. All right, so I got the first one. Now I have to get a second one from this, just to so I could test against itself on MD Fourier. And why don't I switch over to play capture view for this? Gonna be basically just as boring, but you know. While this is going, I'm gonna pick up MD Fourier. Reference. Oh, I would have to convert it to wave. Not a problem. Let me just wait till this is done. All right, that should be done. All right, let's run it and see what happens. Uh-oh. And dash T. Try dash TT, but uh-oh. Hmm. I don't want to have to drag MD4A team into this too. As I thought, the video capture cards don't show up as audio interfaces. Hey Troy, are you on Discord at all? Because this is still set to uncompressed, and it's also set to uncompressed audio. Raw capture format, 48K, 60-bit. Compression, none. So this should all work perfectly as a MD4A capture setup. Yeah, I'm just RetroRGB on Discord. Add me in as a friend, and I'll get at you right now. Okay. Bullshit. Let me just take a third. I'm just not sure how I could have made a mistake on this one. So capture video, start the MD4A. That should be recording. Oh, there you are. All right, let me check these settings out as well. And if this doesn't work, I will try these settings. Thank you very much. Okay. Gold wave in. MD4A. Let's set to 3. Nope. 1. Nope. So that might actually be part of the issue. So close this out and let me get up those settings that match exactly what you just said. Capture timing. Yeah, so the only one thing I didn't do was uncheck force audio clock when audio playback is enabled. Everything else was set exactly the way that you had suggested. I mean, I still appreciate it, so thank you. Keep that coming. But let's try this again, I guess. Well, let me see also. Wait, I have MD4A. We're going to do Sega Genesis. I'll try the last one that I did, and let me also just get a reference for that. Reference files, 48. Yeah. All right. So the files are the problem then. So let me delete these and try again with the settings that were just recommended. If I can't do MD Fourier testing, it's gonna suck, but I guess I could try recording something else, but the problem is recording and playing back audio is going to be not only subjective, but I don't want to get clipped with copyright strikes because there's a Van Halen song in this VHS tape. I really hope I don't have to delete this video because of that too. Frames dropped and frames inserted are 0. Let it play a little longer. So maybe I was cutting the files off too early. I don't know. So I waited a minute 10. Save as. Wave file. Attributes are 16-bit. Exactly what I had it. Call this 021. Try the same thing again. Give it another minute 10 and see what happens. I just realized something. I wonder if it's because the average rate is 2991 frames per second. I wonder if that's messing with this. And I wonder if the frame per second is messing with the video timing as well. Analog video channel, you're right. Can I in virtual dub disable video capture but continue to capture audio only? Right. Done. Well, let's give this a try then and go from there. MD Fourier testing is never the easiest part of any of my streams. Often the most important, never the easiest. Okay. That was it. So that setting and waiting a little bit longer might have been it. So this is excellent. Okay. So open results. Here's what we're worried about. Oh, wait, hold on. This is the number one thing that we're concerned about, right? So if we're zooming in, sorry, I'm trying to get this on screen for you. There we go. So the differences between these two, we're at like 99% difference. Wait a minute. So these right here, these numbers, I don't know if you can see my cursor on screen. I'm sorry if you can't, but these numbers are showing the difference between the exact same thing recorded the same way twice. So what you see here, this graph, these squiggly lines, are the differences between the two recordings. However, they're the differences of the same exact thing. So the reason this is important is because if we get these same results on a different card, that's actually good, not bad. So I'm going to copy this to the desktop real quick so we could have Motu to Motu. Okay. Delete all the rest of these. Beautiful. This is actually working out exactly the way I'd hoped. So now what we're going to do is move this over to the Hauppauge. And I'm hoping that the whole 29 frame per second counter versus 30 isn't going to mess us up here. So let's... All right, I believe I'm back. Please let me know if you hear me and everything. So as soon as I switched over to the hot polish, the thing crashed. So, uh, capture, timing, uncheck that force again. Now I should be good to capture video. Fire up MD4A again. Okay. I think I'm back, right? Okay, thank you, Flint. Once again, shout outs to the stream professor for teaching me that trick so we don't have to all rejoin this different streams over and over and over again. Okay, that was way different. Way, way, way off. Not a great sign for the hot polish, but we could try a second file. That's the Motu 1. Let's go to the Motu 2nd. I think it's still going to be as crazy. Yeah. So hot polish is way different than the Motu, which is expected. I mean, one device is a dedicated one of the best audio interfaces we've ever used versus audio built in. So let's just try some of the USB ones now. Go with the cheap one. I would love for this to not suck or be about the same as the hot polish, because remember, we're nitpicking. MD4A is meant for archival stuff, accuracy. I mean, it's really above and beyond what most people would ever hear, or even could hear. And that's not like a my ears are better than yours dig. I mean, literally things that are outside of the realm of human hearing that are meant for different types of things. So let me cross your fingers this doesn't crash again, but let's just try a different device and see. Capture. Crash. All right. USB video. And same thing, I only have audio connected to this. Double check the timing. Yep, okay. Cap. Oh, wait, that's right. Capture. Comes the audio testing, and we'll go from there. Analog video channel, I could try turning it off, but it makes no difference for this. As long as all of the settings are the same for each, that's what. And that very first MD4A test we ran showed us. You know how it looked like there was a bunch of squiggly lines, but it was actually very close. That proved that the test method that we're using is going to be fine. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Let me double check. Like, compression is still set to. Probably not gonna let me access it while I'm in here. Okay. Compression was still set to uncompressed. Audio capture format was still set. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We had it at 96 instead of 48. That might make a difference. We could try that again in a second. Timings, all the settings that we figured out. Compression is still none. Okay, so let's take a look at this. That could be a mistake that I made, and if so, no big deal. I could just rerun it real quick. Yeah, so that doesn't look great. So let's rerun those both. Terminate. Results. Yeah, so we could just delete all of these except the original comparisons. Let me rerun that real quick. Okay. Capture video. Here we go. The resyncing could potentially affect different cards differently. All right. If this doesn't work, I'll try it one more time with the resyncing. Where exactly was that again? Could you just post the full? Is it under capture settings, and make sure I get it right? Hey, Artemio. You can't say MD Fourier more than 3 times without Artemio showing up. How you doing, my friend? What we're doing here is I am trying to use my Nomad to do recordings into the M4 and then compare them to recordings through different VHS capture devices like the Hauppauge, the IO data, to see which one, if any, comes even remotely close to as good as the Motu. Timing, resample, okay. Well, let me check this first, and then I'm going to do exactly what you just suggested. Better. Better, but I'm going to do it again with the settings that you just recommended. So timing, resample audio capture, timing. Do not resync between audio and video streams. Okay. Okay, so you were right. It was said sync audio to video by resampling the audio to a faster or slower rate. Okay, so do not resync. That's actually totally correct. Good call. I would actually have to redo these on the Motu as well, but fuck it, let's just do it. I don't want to I want to be thorough on this. Let's try this again. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm still on the IO data. That part I got right. But always ask if you think so, because I obviously make a lot of mistakes on these. Funny, I got a lot of captures that were very far off when I left it to resync. And I'm wondering if I should have just left it like that as a while, or left it to not resync a while back and then resync in post or something. All right, so I'm going to compare this. However, wait, I got to compare it first. As IO new. Here. New. And if this looks weird, I'm going to redo the Motu as well, just to make sure that they're the same. Yeah. You know what else might actually be a worthwhile test to run? I mean, we're already here. It's already plugged in. Let me just do a second of the IO data and do the same thing that we had done for the Motu, just to make sure that nothing weird is happening now. That's the other thing about doing any of these MD4A testing is you just, every single thing you do, you have to double and triple check the settings. Oh, funny enough, this isn't the IO data. This is the generic. Well, that's pretty funny. Well, whatever. Uh, Generic 1, and doesn't really matter. I mean, we're still looking to baseline at this point, but okay. 2. We're just comparing it to itself now. We should see if it's any good. Yeah, perfect. So it's the same negligible difference as going to the Motu. So let's redo the tests on the Motu as well as the Hauppauge and see what happens. And once again, if the test crashes, then we know just hang on and I'll reboot. All right, generic card out. I'll go back into the Motu. That didn't seem to crash the stream. And let's do one of those and see what happens. The only thing I should have to change is Motu 3.4. We'll run the same test. I warned you all this is going to be a boring stream, but this is unfortunately what it takes to get any kind of real results for metrics on this stuff. This is what people who don't hold up the box, shake it, and say, I don't feel any lag in here do. That was a mean thing to say, but it's also accurate, so whatever. Did I close MD4A? Work. Up again. not bad at all. That's way different than the giant differences of before. So I think your settings were exactly what we needed here. All right. So now we're on to the Hauppauge. And once again, if we crash, just stick around. It'll only be a second for me to reboot. Artemio, if you're still here, I'd really love to know what the hell that that graph meant. Sorry. All right. Vice, please don't crash. All right. Timing, same. Compression, none. Raw capture format, 48. Okay. Put cap for capture. Now we'll do the Hauppauge, and I will plug in the I/O data to see what that one's going to be like. The actual I/O data, not me mistaking the capture card for the wrong one. I just realized I forgot to check video compression. No, uncompressed. Didn't matter. Okay. Hauppauge. No. Better. Hauppauge did a very good job. Wow. Says it's a 2% difference? 2.5% difference as opposed to a 7% difference on the audio side for the generic one. That's impressive. Okay. Now the I/O data. Once again, hope this doesn't crash. I'm going to have to restart VW or redetect. All right. Capture. USB 2. Compression uncompressed. Raw capture 48 PCM. Compression none. Capture timing. Do not resync. Yep. Okay. Oh, yeah. Actually, let me just set off the desktop. There we go. This should be the last MD4A test unless Artemio or any of the crew jumps in, sees I made a mistake. But honestly, that even the generic one wasn't terrible. But the Hauppauge came out fine. I mean, for what we're doing, totally fine. And I guess after this, I could repeat the final test with a VHS player that has a time-based corrector built in, you all like to see that? Would that be probably the best way to end this? And if any of the VHS Decode / Doomsday people are here, I could try to record another one of those. I got about an hour before I got to go, but I'd certainly be open to anything at the moment. Actually, the I/O data. Also very respectable. Wow. Wow. About the same. It's about a 2% difference. Well, damn. All right. Shit. Let me grab that other VHS and go from there, and we'll do the final test for these. Color me impressed. Whew. All right, analog video channel. I'll do it if you really feel like that's going to make a measurable difference. I absolutely will. But I appreciate all of your help. I'm so glad you're here. This is not I'm not starting shit. I'm just asking you as a nerd to nerd, what could possibly be the reason for somebody to use the DVD as a pass-through when they could just record to it? Is the only reason for things longer than would be recorded to that DVD player? So if you want to do a 3-hour recording instead of an hour, or am I missing something? I could be missing something. It does happen a lot. Sure, I get the TBC functions, but I'm just saying, why would I record? Actually, we could probably do both. I could record to this Panasonic player at the same time that I'm using it as a pass-through time-based corrector, right? No possible reason why I couldn't do that. Yeah, why don't we do that? Shit. And I'll do that first so that we can wait for it to finalize, and then I'll go grab the other VHS player to go direct. Apply this here. All right. We'll go into so we could just leave out the whole generic converter from now on, right? We don't need to retest that because we know it's not terrible for audio. We know it's a perfect device for being used with the Doomsday VHS Decode project. Sorry, I dropped it. So for a $12 device, it serves its purpose. It allows you to have a second copy of whatever you're recording to resync the start of the audio and video. Would never recommend it for actual capture. And for audio, I think it's fine. I think what I personally would use it for, because I have OCD, is secondary audio. I think if I were going to use the VHS Decode Doomsday project, I would have the composite video output of the VHS player going into this, and that I would split the audio output to both this and the Motu M4, so that no matter what happens, the wave recording, or the MPEG recording, I have 2 of everything. So this is not great, but as a backup, I mean, imagine you get through archiving a tape and the tape breaks, and the only copy that you have is with that crappy recorder. Wouldn't you think that it's better than no recorder at all? So I think that for situations like that, you got to just keep context into it. Just checking the chat. Okay, so let me start wiring this stuff up. And the hauppage was jumpy last time. So let's do that again. Let's do that same test, knowing that maybe the tape's wearing down in that spot, but let's go to that same exact test in order to see. So VHS into the DVD recorder. Once I get this up and running, I'm really going to need you all to show me where that spot is that I'm not supposed to, or the noise reduction, digital noise reduction that you want me to turn off. Let me grab another S-video cable to go into the hauppage. And I won't even do audio because we've already proved that the audio is fine. Okay, found my other S-video cable. I need power, remote, and DVD here too. This is actually, now that I think about it, this is a cooler test than I thought, because we're going to be doing them both at the same time, the hauppage versus the DVD recorder. So this is actually going to be a pretty cool metric for this. All right, I have all of that set. My power cord. Dash Evans here. Did he steal my power cord? Got it. So those, do any of you know, those crappy composite to HDMI boxes that I just tried to use but it freaked out, do those actually have any kind of time-based correction built in, even really low end? Or is it just all garbage? Where I don't even know where I put it. This thing. Yeah, this thing. Do these things have any kind of time-based correction, or is this just you're screwed no matter what you do? I've taken out too many boxes. I have to put this stuff away to be able to get to get to the others. What am I getting? Blank DVDs. That's what I was getting. Blank DVDs. Okay. I changed my mind. I think I want to do another scene. Oh, this already has batteries in it. Danielle would be pissed. Yeah, get out of here. Turn. Nope. Funny, I'm looking at how to get in the menu. Function. Okay. Settings for recording. Yeah, EP. Not all right. That's fine. The better one. Back. This remote sucks. Video. Black level control. Interesting. Do I leave this all exactly as is? Input level, darker, lighter, normal? Those are obviously the defaults. Hauppauge. Hauppauge? I've been to Hauppauge a bunch of times, and I'll tell you, it's fine. Sorry, not like I live in a better place or anything. So I'm not seeing any options for the digital noise reduction. Does anybody know which menu I'm supposed to be looking at for that one? I'll wait before I hit the recording. I'll give the chat a moment to kick in. I didn't see any settings there, and there's nothing on the remote labeled DNR or anything like that. But I'll give it a moment. I'll go unhook the other VCR while we wait. While I wait, it's buried in my setup up here. Ugh. I had this thing wired so nicely for about a month. And then I started selling stuff and moving around pieces, and now I might even just disassemble the whole CRT wall because it's exactly like when I was in Stamford, Connecticut, and I had an entire floor-to-ceiling IKEA shelf filled with consoles that lasted about a week before I had to keep pulling the consoles out to run tests on them or grab, you know, grab whatever I needed from stuff. So, ugh. All right, I'll check the chat. It's a separate menu you access with the display button. All right, so let me get out of here. I'm looking for any button that says display. There's drive select, AV. Nope. Wait, display. Okay, okay. Ah, thank you very much. Picture, normal, cinema, fine, soft, normal. MPEG, DNR, off. Line in, noise reduction, off. Correct? Very good call. Thank you, Troy. Blue background, setup button, display. Troy, if you do videos, you should do videos on this. If not, somebody should, because this was all really good freaking info. Functions, setup. That was off timer, off, and then black level control, the input level to lighter. And output level composite S video to darker. Components normal. All right, so we should be good. So do I? So let me it was jumping all through the end. So I think I'm going to start it from the end of, yeah, I can see Mike did go right there. So right where we're at here, I'm going to hit record when we're ready. Let me double check all of the settings here. So we're still going to do uncompressed just so I don't screw any settings up. We're still at 720 by 480 YUV2 2997. That's not changed. Audio is all fine. Still on the hopage. Screen just went red for a second. What the hell just happened? All right, we're fine. So we're good with all of this stuff. So I'm going to hit record here. And I'm going to hit record here. And then play. We're going to give it a solid minute and a half and see if we get any jumps or anything else. And once again, this is the VCR without time-based correction built in. So by doing this test, we're going to be able to see, is it jumpy through the hopage like it was before? And how good the Panasonic DVD recorder is, both as passing it through and as a time-based corrector and recording onto it. I think that's going to be a great test. Analog video channel, there's no audio cable even plugged in, but thank you very much just in case. A lot of good colorful. Whoa, all right, I saw the video just get wacky there. That's perfect. All right, stop on all of them. Finalize the disk and disk management to be able to play back. Okay. So I'll rewind this. Checked it, and let me go to finalize disk. So it would be nice if there was a single button that finalized. I guess functions, other functions, disk management, finalize. Really just be a finalize. Start. Okay. Let me swap out. I forgot to switch it over to the other view so you could see on the desktop. My apologies, everybody. Not that that was the most exciting thing. You'll be able to see the playback in a couple of minutes, but well. Okay. grab do another here. Right. This is the model that supposedly has time-based correction built in. And direct from the output into the Hauppauge. And we could do it again with the I/O data as well afterwards. Maybe even the data path just to see the final bits. I'm going to make sure to label that file correct as well. And we can play that back right now to show you. Jump and stutter. So there we go. We saw the jumpiness in the other one. Let me verify that. I don't notice it as much when playing it direct. That's interesting. Spartan, the whole purpose of all of this is to just do my behind-the-scenes testing live on camera. Just because why the hell not? But all I'm really trying to determine is right now, today, in 2023, what is the easiest, medium, and best methods for VHS capture. Let's pause. Let me go into the menu of this and change all the settings as before. New auto. Okay. Cool. Oh, that's a little weird all of a sudden. That's a little jumpy with the time-based correction VCR. The Hauppauge doesn't have some kind of TBC built in, does it? This is not going through the DVD recorder. This is just going direct. Yeah, that's definitely different and weird. Troy, I haven't had time to click on it yet. I'm sorry. I could post if you think I should stop doing this and read it now, I will. But I had actually planned on giving it some real time later on. That's funny. This looks strange. Yeah. Wow. We have the sync curl up on top where it's dropping signal a little bit. Colors seem a little weird. Definitely doesn't do it if I'm watching it through a CRT, though. All right. Up. Rewind the tape. I'll try it again through the I/O data. Stop it there. VCR. Yeah, that's weird. That is very weird. Oh, all right. Well, let's go into I/O data. This is the real I/O data, not the fake. We know that because I put the other one away. I didn't want to make that mistake before. So this is the GV USB 2. Let's run the same test on that one with the time-based correction one. Double check everything. Compression is uncompressed. The only, oh, interestingly, you could set it to 59, but now we'll leave it all the same that it was. Wait, what was that? Something? Oh, no, we're good. We're good. Timing, fine. Raw capture format, 48. Compression, none. Even though we're not even recording audio, I just want all the settings to be the same. Record. And then I'll do the data path one more time. Maybe we could adjust the brightness on that just a little bit. Yeah, so this looks better. I wonder if the hot polish has some kind of correction built in, so it's layering it on top of each other, causing the weird issues. Yeah, this looks totally fine. Oh, well, that fuzzy part at the end was also fuzzy on the other one, so if it's also fuzzy on DVD recorder, then that could be just a part of the tape getting weird. Oh, the hot pog is just sensitive to the problems with the signal. Okay. Okay. Stop. Rewind. Data path, and then we'll start to compare them all. Name that immediately. All right, switch this over. I'll actually plug in real quick back into the DVD player just to see if the finalization is done. No. Okay, cool. So all right, so capture filter. Brightness was on. Let's just try going way too high just to make sure that yeah, so way too high. It was on 32 when we started, when we found that it was a little too dark. So maybe let's put it on 37. What that looks like. Go back to 32. Oh, well, I needed to check that anyway. That's all fine. Compression should be uncompressed, right? But let's just go back into this. Wrong one again. I'm sorry. Capture filter. So here's where I believe it was at, 32. And that's definitely too dark. You can't see the writing anymore on that. So 36. That should be good. All right, I think we're good. Hit play. Capture video. There might be a hair too bright, but I think we're good. And after this, I'll start doing, even if the if the finalization isn't completed, I could start doing the editing just to so that when it is complete, I could hopefully drop it in and just make it happen. That way, we'd actually, unlike the last two streams, you could all see results right away. Same fuzziness in the same spot, so that's either the tape or an effect that they put in, a 90s effect, whatever. I think this might be the winner, just looking in the preview window. Okay. Stop. I will throw this over to here so we could see when that finalizes. Let me, the data path maybe, but I mean, we don't, see. Up here. Yeah, so the data path might be, but we won't really know until we start editing this stuff. So let me try that now. Oh, do we have a PC freeze? Wait, something frozen just now. Think I'm still good? Waving my arm. Yeah, all right. It was just a bump in the road. All right, so this one's going to be interesting. Hey, what's up, Ed? Did I enable levels under video? I don't know, but I definitely just adjusted the brightness. So it says finalization complete. Timing. And checked. Hmm. This is the boring part again. I have to five. So let me try to do display capture and see if I screw everything up doing it this way. And so here is what we had before. This is the one we were looking at. And the hull polish had some weird wiggle to it in this. Let's just add all of these files to it. And once again, this is going to be the most boring part of the stream, so I'm sorry. Lining up the frames so that they all start at about the same time. And we could stretch them in both directions. That's definitely one thing I learned when doing these comparison shots for all the videos that I've done. Label them as you go because it's very easy to forget which is which. All right, and then these are gonna have to overlap a tiny bit because you can't quite fit all of them in here. So overlap like that much, I guess. And I will check the chat in a minute. And once again, to be annoyingly repetitive, I'm sorry. I know this is so boring. Just sitting here watching me badly edit video, but oh, interesting. The aspect ratio is different when I was using the time base. Right? Yeah. So it's squarer with the DVD. Interesting. Huh. We could already see a brightness difference as well. Yeah, ES10. I'm gonna pause to check the chat real quick. Thanks for coming by, Fairy Kid. I promise there's going to be a conclusion to this that's a little easier to deal with than watching me fumble through in real time, but This bottom one is data path. See. What else we got? IO data. Okay, that lines up. And so we have room for one more. I actually think I'm going to do 2 of these. Let me get the IO data in from the original. So, okay. Do a little lineups here. Because I think as much as I want to talk about the data path, you can't get them. So, no TC. We'll see what the difference is with those. And I'll go with the original IO data. Did I even record that at the same? We can only get a little bit of that, but that's fine. We could figure that out. We're only going to be able to get a few seconds of that, but that's totally fine. Here. All right. Couple more seconds of editing and we should be out of here. Well, not out of here, but finished at least. Out of editing. And then as I'm cleaning up, I could answer any questions or if more importantly, if any of you have an idea of what I need for next time, that would also be great. Like if I need a follow-up or something. Okay. All right, minimizing this. Back. And let me. So this is from last time. Data path was a little darker, but we fixed that. The generic was not good. For $10, it's fine, but the IO data was what I mean. The generic was the only bad solution in this one, and it's not even bad. It's not even the worst one I've ever seen. It's just not keeping up with the rest of them. And it's not even just the brightness. You could see flicker and weirdness in there as well. That shouldn't be the slightest bit surprising to anybody. Okay, now let me switch to the new file. This is what we just did. You know what, I'm gonna drop this in the Google Drive again as well. Let's take a look at this together if anybody's in front of their computer. All right. I'm gonna switch back to this view just so my moving around stuff doesn't start to give people headaches. Um, there we go. Let me play this full screen for me and have you all in the chat check it out as well. The data path doesn't look too dark in this one. It did in the last, but I think putting up the brightness just a little bit was fine. It could probably go a little bit brighter. The ES10 is definitely too bright, so whatever setting we change is probably not correct. Um, going. I think did the IO data get a little jumpy with the time-based corrector too? Might have. So this is S video testing. I believe that the filter inside the data path is a 2-comb filter, and the Hauppauge is a 3-comb filter. But we're using S video, so it might not actually be as imperative for this. But overall, I'm seeing the data path looking amazing for S video. The IO data really holds up, like big time holds up, and the Hauppauge seems excellent. Do we need to do another test at at composite video to see? Got a little bit of time. Yeah, Troy, this is pretty interesting. Um, as for recommending a solution, I mean the IO data is great. You know, telling people to find the Hauppauge card, which isn't even available on eBay, seems kind of useless. Telling people to, but I mean, also, we didn't even use a VCR with time-based correction for the IO data. I'm looking at it full screen again, and it's fine. I think we got to do a composite video test now. What do you all think? Brand new tape, Troy. That is the reason why I chose this tape. Is I watched it once with a friend just to have like a fun experience to check out an old VHS tape. But that was it. I watched it once, start to finish, and then we've been using it for these tests, but never the same part for each test. So each section, each 1 minute section is played like 5 or 6 times, and then we move farther on in the tape. I mean, I think personally, you know, let me grab. I'm gonna get copyright struck for this, but fuck it. I'm gonna grab that Betamax player. I'm going to take composite video out of that on a beat-ass old tape, and I'm going to see how it holds up with the IO data, the hopog, and the hopog. You messed me up, buddy. I used to know how to pronounce it, how everybody in New York City pronounced it, and now you got me thinking about it. But I want to see how that reacts to a weird old tape. And I think I got The Godfather, and I think I got WrestleMania. Let me try to figure out I think Godfather tape 3 in that set was the only one that wasn't perfect. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't perfect. Let me wrap this stuff up. Unless any of you disagrees, that's what I'm going to do now. I don't want to run it through the DVD player just for all the same reasons. I mean, I'm trying to figure out the easiest for people, and I think the honest answer, unless this composite video test goes crazy, I think the honest answer is a DVD VHS recorder combo would probably be the easiest for people. The second easiest for people that need, or one of these ES10 recorders. I think the second easiest would then be the IO data, and that would allow you to have a little bit more control. You could record longer. You could kind of adjust things in real time. And I think all of these extra methods are cool and all, but effort versus cost spent, right? Like if somebody ends up trying to get one of those data video time-based correctors to do this stuff, they'd be way better off buying a Doomsday. Even though it's from a cost point of view, not from anything else point of view. All right, so the other thing about the data path, while it is great and it is a high-end piece of equipment, it also doesn't even have audio built in. So it's one step closer to the data, or to the Doomsday VHS decode project, in that you need more equipment. Tape where it ends the. Hey, what's up, Harry? All right, so let me just think real quick. I don't have too much more time, but I definitely want to try to get one or two more questions answered about this, because this is just surprising that the IO data did so unbelievably well. And after these tests are over, I'm going to have to sell all this equipment. So if any of you are interested, please let me know. I'm probably going to only keep one piece for myself, but and the Doomsday VHS decode, that's not even mine. That's a friend of mine was the one who basically asked if I could have that made. In an exchange, I get to test it out on stream and stuff. This thing is so awesome. Got Dr. Strangelove, WrestleMania 3. This is the tape that was inside the beta player when I got it that turned out to be a porn. When my friend came over to watch it with me, he was like, "Oh, you got a Betamax player? I think my uncle had one of those." And I was like, "Oh, there's a tape in it." And he goes, "It's going to be a porn." I was like, "No." And one of the first scenes, there's like an ad for more porn, and it's Ron Jeremy riding a horse. It's very funny. So yeah, it was a porn. Funny too, when the Godfather 3 tape Betamax set that I got, I put in tape 2, and it immediately was already fast forward to the part where you see her tits. I was like, oh my god. Dudes are so dumb. We are. You know we are. Don't even try. Any dude listening knows that you absolutely did that as a kid. If you were old enough to only get your videos through VHS, somebody had a VHS tape always rewound to that same spot. All right, I'm going to start with the data path, the IO data, and the hopog, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, Harry, the problem with that, I saw what you said in the chat. The problem with that is nobody knows it is that. So you really have to decide, do you want more people to know about your project, or do you want to get the nomenclature correct? So I've been saying the Doomsday FMRF VHS decode thing, and hopefully I'll slowly start moving over to it. But it's really it's really up to you. If you and everybody in the Discord wants to get it right, that's fine. But if you want everybody else who's been watching these interviews and listening to the projects and everything, you want them to jump in, you have to understand that's how they know the project. So I'll slowly start to move over, but I'm not going to just stop talking about it the way I was, because then people are going to have no idea what I was talking about. Ooh. We're not getting anything on the data path. We should be, though. Maybe we'll have to do that last then. Or maybe I need this other connector. That's a possibility. You need two connectors for the data path. Let me see if I can swap this over. Okay. I think it was number 1 here. I'm really wondering if I'm going to get copyright struck for this. I guess we'll find out. So no, it's not even showing that? The heck? All right, I guess maybe we're not doing the data path first. Let's try the I/O data. And I'm once again not even going to record audio, just so maybe it's one less step of me getting a copyright strike down on this. So I believe we have to change something here in order to get that working. I said crossbar. Yeah, that was it. We had to go to crossbar. Wait, hold on. You all can't see this. I'm an idiot. Hold on. There we go. We had to go to crossbar, switch that from S-video to composite. Okay. Getting something, but it's the beginning of the tape. I think there's a couple of seconds before it kicks in. Right? Oh, here we go. Okay. We check the settings again. Compression, uncompress. All right, that's all we really care about. And then capture pin. Good. Play. Video. Okay. And we'll do 30 seconds from when video comes on. Really hope I don't get copyright struck for this. I hope it's a brighter scene. What the hell? Might have to wait to the next scene if this doesn't get brighter in the next couple of seconds. So this set that I had bought, There was barely any issues with it, but the beginning of this tape jumped around a tiny bit, but not really. All right, I think this should be the scene. No, damn it. Come on, you have a nice lake setting outside. Get the camera out there. All right, I'm gonna stop recording and wait till the next scene real quick. Okay, here we go. When the guy sits up, we hit record. I hit the wrong goddamn button. Sorry. This rewind is the slowest rewind ever. I think I'm just so used to fast VHS rewind. Here we go. You know what? You're right. Let me do that first. Video levels. Nothing's happening. I'm not getting anything when I do that. Sorry. I did. Wait, like, hold on. Do you mean like capture? Because I wasn't capturing video, so no video levels controls are available with this capture driver. All right, well, that's actually more of a bonus for the I/O data. It's less thing for, it seems to be capturing fine, and it's less thing for the end user to screw up when they buy it. But I will try again with the hop-hog and the data path. All right, the old guy in the chair. Stop. I/O data, Betamax composite. I mean, that's for plug and play. How impressive is it? Eh. Let me try and watch it full screen. It's gonna look a little crazy to you, I'm sure, but yeah, there's a lot of combing artifacts in there. All right, let's try the other two and see what happens. All right, so what levels should I set for the hopodge one? Yeah, we don't die. That's one of the many reasons why I want 480i capture. Is because I want to be able to do all that stuff in post. Now, if you don't want to deal with any of that, you could run it through a Tink or any of the other scalers and just capture in 480 or 720. I just hit H. Let me rewind this back to where it was. Starting to run out of time here. I don't know why it's not. Here we go. Okay. Play. Oh, unpausing, I mean. The H for histogram. Oh, so the purpose of this is to make sure the levels aren't clipped? Oh. That's actually a really good idea. Let me stop recording here, and let me also just seems too bright. Get rid of the red. Contrast was 125. Hmm. Well, that didn't look too terrible. And let me try the data path one more time, and then let's just do a comparison of these three and see. I'm just curious here. So you want no red. So brightness first, contrast second, like that, right? But that doesn't look good on the picture. Its default of 0 and 125 look better. Oh, and let me pause because I want to get into that. Going over to the data path card now anyway, just to try. This one, maybe there was a glitch before. It happens all the time. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Maybe I just had the wrong input. That's very plausible. Okay, capture video, unpause, and then we'll do one final comparison at this, and then I gotta go. I'm already running a bit late today. Well, you know, with all the respect, we don't die, Tony Analog Video Channel, everybody who's trying to help here, I appreciate, or Troy, not Tony, I'm sorry. I appreciate all of it. Please keep it coming. The one thing that I do just have to say though is if you start getting really deep into this, then why wouldn't you just go get the VHS RF method? If you're starting to get that deep. What I'm trying to look at right now is essentially um sorry, pause it right here. What I'm looking at right now is essentially a plug and play option that you buy for 50 bucks and you hit record and it looks pretty damn good. Like impressively good. So let me open Premiere up again and see if I can get a not so crappy angle for you all. Sorry. And just give me another minute or two and I will do the last couple. Okay. As soon as it switches to the other scene, that's when we'll start it. Two after that. Ugly. And this is a 40-year-old tape, essentially, with no time-based correction at all. Unless any of these cards happen to have it built in or anything like that. About even. Check the chat again in 1 second. I'm almost done. I just got to export, and I'll dump this in as well. All right, I think we're good. Actually, wait, no. Now we're good. I'm going to put this one up as well for people to check out. Here we go. I'm also going to play it through here. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this full screen for me, but let's see. They all look very good. We're splitting hairs at this point. It's not like the first two where there was like a clear fail. This is all good stuff. I supposedly the data path only has a 2-comb filter and the Hauppauge has a 3, but I think they all look excellent, especially for $50 the IO data. I think the Hauppauge might be the winner. Maybe it's just the brightness settings on it, but the filtering does actually seem to be a little bit better. But we're definitely splitting hairs at this point. I'll play this one more time. But I mean, I'm impressed. Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think I gotta go. I've been focusing so much time on this. Maybe a little oversaturation on the data path. Yeah. I mean, the Hauppauge definitely, I think, is the overall winner, but it's such a small difference, at least in that shot. I guess if we wanted to split hairs, we could try a dark scene as well. But I mean, I actually got to go in less than 5 minutes now at this point. But let me look full screen one more time. I'll look at the dark areas in the scene, but yeah, I'm looking at his suit, pocket square. I mean, they're all great. Hmm. Well, does anybody have any questions or anything? I'm gonna put all this stuff away and see if I can bail at 2:40. But anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything I'm working on or want me to try for next time? Maybe. Um, I think I've been more than clear that I'm not an expert at this, but I do have over 20 years of experience trying to figure out easy, medium, and hard methods of doing this. And after all I've seen with these tests that I've been doing, it really just seems like easy is still a DVD recorder of sorts. An excellent medium is just this IO data thing. Really, like no issues at all. For $50, you just plug it in and it works. I would like to go back and retry their software at some point, but that's less of an issue. And they just recorded an MPEG recording, and I don't know, that would actually be something I would really be interested in any of your opinion on, is exactly what is the best compression format to use that's compatible with video editing software like Premiere, that won't destroy the image when you're, because some compression methods, even for VHS or beta, would make it look terrible. So it can't be a bad option. So what's the good happy medium for 480i content like this? Because uncompressed is just not realistic. Like, once again, why wouldn't I just get VHS decode, and do the RF method of capture? And if I'm gonna to have that much space taken up on a hard drive, right? Yeah, I didn't have any issue with dropped frames on a lot of the testing that I've been doing. Um, I don't really know why. My sack of data path cables. We do a hi-fi decode. Yeah, I mean, so I don't think I'm going to be getting into any of that, and I don't mean that as a dig. I don't mean anything negative. I just mean, for me personally, I'm in it for two reasons. Number one, when family members inevitably come over and tell me they want me to rip their VHS tapes to digital, what's the best way to do it? And if this was a couple years ago, I would have just used the DVD recorder method and been done with it, but now nobody has DVD players anymore. So I think for me personally, with the equipment I have, I think I'd probably use the Hauppauge one just because I already own it. But if I didn't already own it, I would be using the IO Data just because it's super easy. And I also have the Hauppauge card in this is a Thunderbolt external shell. So while this is a stupidly expensive thing for somebody to make for this purpose, I already owned all of this stuff. So for me, just using that was able to have me, or get me, a very good external way to do all of this stuff. I also have the data path already connected to my computer, so I might just use that in the Motu if I felt the need. But however, if somebody found something important, like there's been so many cases of people having VHS copies of rare things that were never archived any other way, anime, cartoons, a couple of TV shows, commercials. I don't know, I don't quite know what the obsession is, but there's a lot of interest in commercials these days too. So that would be, find somebody with the RF method, any of them, and find, go to the wiki, or not the wiki, well, go to the wiki and read it up, but also go to the Discord server and talk with people and make sure you get the proper decode for all of this stuff. And that way you have an archive of everything. Skimming through the chat real quick. Okay, Harry, FFV1 8-bit for small archives, FFV 10-bit, and ProRes for editing. Okay. FFV1 wasn't the smallest by any means, though. Like, not even close. All right. Packing up. I'll probably be out of here in about 2 minutes. I just wanted to hang out a little longer in case I missed anything, somebody's got something to add. And to be very selfish, it's way more fun to hang out putting stuff away with you all hanging out with me than it is just sitting here by myself. So, I don't mind a little bit of selfishness now and then. Bunch of awesome people to hang out with. I don't even know what that one went to. I'm going to assume it was in here. If anybody wants one of these, the exact link to the one I purchased is in the description. Obviously, I did that on purpose because people had recommended that to me, and I knew it wasn't going to suck, but I didn't know it was going to perform like this. That's still very impressive to me. And Harry, I'm not sure when you jumped on, but I MD Fourier audio tested all of these things. And that cheap, crappy card that I got was fine. wasn't great. However, the IO data actually worked as a very passable solution. So I wouldn't use it for. I mean, to be honest, I would use it with VHS decode RF method. I absolutely would. I'm going to have Artemio and the MD Fourier team double check that for me so I don't just make a really stupid statement by accident. But I honestly think that was a perfectly good card to use for audio. And it didn't really perform. I mean, it performed within 2% as well as the Motu M4, which is one of the best cards we've tested. So, I mean, that you can't really get much better of a metric than that. All right, as I'm about to close off, almost all of this equipment's going to be up for sale on eBay next week. Patreon subscribers have first dibs. No offense. If you're mad at that, you can go online and just tell everybody. I promise I'm going to read all of the comments. But for ones that don't sell tomorrow, they'll probably be up on eBay by Wednesday. So I think I absolutely came to my conclusions. I'm going to probably just get some white box footage of it and eventually swing back and make a video. But I want all of the experts here to know the video is going to be very clear that I am an intermediate knowledge person. I am not the expert. And that if you want some of the expert things, to go to all the links that you've sent me. I've been listening to all of your feedback. So I just want you all to know I'm not going to do like so many YouTubers do, take your info and pretend like I'm now a master at this stuff. That's not how I roll at all. I appreciate all of your help. This has been so much of a cool learning experience. But I do genuinely think, no bullshit, just telling people buy one of those. I got to test the software that it comes with first, but buy one of these and just use it. And hopefully the software it comes with has default values that don't suck. Because if that's the case, this is going to be just the best solution for most nerds. And combo units for people that just don't know what else to do. People that are more comfortable looking at a menu on a TV than they are messing with a computer. How big of a difference is RF capture versus today's method? So here is the #1 biggest difference. And everybody, Harry especially, feel free to jump in if you think I'm wrong, but my opinion is very strong on this one. If you get a proper rip using the RF method, you do it right. You make sure you do a test first. You do like a quick minute to make sure everything's good, and you do it that way, then the post-processing that you do the best that you can today. As long as you save that original file, if a year from now more methods come out that are better, that original raw capture could still be edited. So that is the biggest difference, in my opinion, is that, like for me, I told the story about my my tapes from when I was a kid, some of my home videos. I used one of these, basically, a garbage one of these. Well, for the time it was fine, but compared to this, no. And now I have to re-rip those tapes, which already are worn through again and have been sitting in the storage area for 20 years. And the tape that had the one little spot on it that was kind of special to me broke. So if I had used the RF method, I could just go back and reprocess them. So that's what I think the biggest difference is. And that's what I truly think. That's why I think it's going to be for archival stuff or for crazy nerds like me. That's totally fine. How critical is the VCR that you use? It can't be broken, but it's going to be the second. I mean, I think it's going to be equal to this. But if you're talking about you have a bottom of the barrel Panasonic, or any brand, I'm looking at a Panasonic now, which is why I said that. Bottom of the barrel VCR, two head, one head, whatever else, mono audio versus a good condition 4-head VCR, then you're definitely going to have a much bigger difference. So I think VCR would be absolutely critical, except I don't think, as we showed here, you don't need to go get any of the crazy pro models. Just get one of the early to mid 2000s. Because also with technology, right? The stuff that goes into the system on a chip type of stuff, by the time they got to the mid 2000s, the lowest end stuff with, the mid grade stuff was better than some of the high end stuff from the 80s. So that's going to be important. All right, I got to run. This was awesome. I'm right down to the limit of when I had to go. But thank you all so much. I really appreciate you all. This was a blast, and hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow. And the stuff will be up for sale. So thank you again. Thanks to everybody. And at some point I'll have a video, but this is going to be an in-depth video.